Hey y'all, and welcome to the third part of the tutorial on creating a realistic alien head. Today we will be focusing on adding skin details and backing textures. Let's begin by creating a new layer and cloning a standard brush. Then select the drag rectangle option and import alphas for detailing. Now let's choose a suitable alpha. I want to draw attention to something. Let's reduce the focal shift. Currently the details are protruding above the surface. To fix this issue, go to the Alpha tab, select Modify, and adjust the mid-value parameter. Looks much better. You can also experiment with the intensity and focal shift parameters. Now we are all set to get started. Sometimes I mask specific areas to ensure the texture shows up exactly where I want it. I've used this approach for the entire surface. I tried to add some variability in different head zones. Additionally, keep in mind the natural behavior of the skin, such as where it stretches and compresses. For the eyelids, I've used the brushes pack from the brush guides. Let's take a look at how the details appear on closed eyes. Just a minor adjustment here and we can continue. Next, let's work on the wrinkles. I've sculpted them in areas where the skin compresses, or to create a natural wrinkle flow. Sometimes manually adding details by hand is the best way to achieve a realistic, less procedural look. And of course, sometimes you may need to manually sculpt the transition between textures. To make the details stand out more, I've inflated them, previously masking the mesh by cavity. Finally, I added some veins around the eyes. So here is the final result in ZBrush. The details might seem a bit too prominent now, but they will become less pronounced after baking. The blend shapes are looking good as well. Now let's move on to exporting the meshes for baking. Export the highest subdivision level as an FBX file. This will be our high poly mesh. An important note, make sure to select export polygroups as MUTs. Now ZBrush polygroups will be exported as materials. Switch to the lowest subdivision level and export the low poly mesh. Ensure that polygroups as materials is active here as well. Before baking, there is one more step. Set vertex normals and triangulate yellow poly mesh in the software you will be using to export the final animated model. This step will help avoid normal map issues and incorrect triangulation in the game or render engine. We will be baking mesh maps in Marmoset toolbar. Just drag and drop both low and high poly meshes. Click on the button with the small bread icon. Drag the high and low poly meshes into their respective slots. Duplicate the bake group folder and for now disable the second group. On the low poly mesh, hide everything except the bottom lip. And do the same with the high poly mesh. Now delete the hidden parts. In the second bake group, hide and delete only the lower lip parts, leaving the rest. By separating the mesh into baking groups, we prevent baking artifacts where the lips intersect. Click the Bake button, then the Preview button. Everything looks perfect, no seams, a clean result. I added more samples, selected a 4K texture size and recalculated the normal map once again. Additionally, I baked a curvature map and ambient occlusion map. A problem arises here. You can try disabling the Ignore Groups checkbox. However, now occlusion was calculated for each group separately, which means the shadowing from the parts that were not included in the group was ignored, resulting in an obvious seam on the edge of two groups. You can either combine these maps in Photoshop or simply paint over these areas as I did. Also, it's a good idea to brighten up super dark areas. Great, we are done here. The last thing for today is to see how the textures look on blend shapes. I've created a new material, dragged texture files into slots, and applied this material to all meshes. Everything looks great. Thank you for watching and see you in the next part.